responsibilities that you have handled, Sakshi, are acting as a motivational medium to a team. As a motivational trainer for a team, what is the key element that you would try to bring about or develop in a team for achievement of their objectives?
As a team, I would tell the person leading the team or the whole team. First of all, I would like to tell you about how would I train a person leading the team. I would tell that person to do a smart work instead of hard work, because there is a difference between smart work and hard work. Hard work is doing everything on your own, and smart work is getting things done in a perfect manner. So this is something which a leader should have. As a team, everyone should cooperate with the leader, and they should be open to putting their thoughts into the goals, and I guess it is everyone who has to contribute to the success.
Well, Sakshi, nicely said, smart work and hard work. I appreciate that answer. Well, in your own competencies area, in your CV, you are able to work in team environment. What are the key features of a team environment? And suppose you find the team environment not in order. How can you influence a team environment? How can you motivate people in a team so as to give it the spirit of a team?
A team requirement says that we all are working towards something which is unique, or we all are working towards one goal. So the most important thing is that everyone should have the same focus, and I would make sure that people understand that how to put up their opinions towards the focus and not diverge.
Aishwarya, please tell us something about yourself.
I'm a very straightforward person. I do not keep things to myself. I like to speak the way they are. I'm very much interested in music. That's why I'm going for broadcast music journalism. What I would say is that I'm ready to give everything to the organization which I work for. But in turn, I should remunerate it particularly well the job I do, for the job I do.
Your extracurricular activities cite you as being a guitarist and a growler have been associated with a heavy metal band since Jan 2009. And you have also been an active participant in literary and music activities. So why not try and form a rock band of your own? Why stick to a conventional profile such as this?
Coming up with a rock band is a very general concept. Anybody can come up with it. What I want is that everybody gets to know the story behind forming a band. What are the basic stipulations? What goes through your mind? What goes through the band? How you can keep everybody together? So that's why I've gone for I've taken music journalism, and one of my favorite stories would be that I get to cover one of the famous bands and what they do with their charming, so that I can show it to everyone. That would be my favorite story that I've read of.
Well, Aishwarya, I see in your CV that you have worked with Sahara Samay Uttar Pradesh, and you have done something in the print media as well. Between print media and electronic media, which one do you think has got bigger influence in general mass, and why?
I definitely think that is visual medium, that's the electronic medium, which is because anything that is seen visual rather than reading is like I can state it with an example that if you go through a newspaper, you might skip a few lines, but if you go through a visual, that you would like to see the full story. That's why I want to go for.
Into journalism, there's a concept called AIDA concept in journalism. Have you heard of that? AIDA, concept in journalism.
Sorry.
What can these initials stand for? AIDA in journalism.
Very fine cases.
Okay. It is attention because the journalist needs to be very attentive. There should be a desire to work and then the interest in what you are doing. So that is the IDA concept of journalism. This is the most talked about concept when you talk about journalism. There is some, do you have an option? Would you like to prosper in online journalism? Because you are not visible there.
Actually, I've already stated that I find visuals more important. I actually did online and print media for a while, but I did that because I was in a financial crisis. I needed financial support. But this is what I feel for that I should go for. I'm interested in this, and my main motive is to show the true story to everybody.
You are like into the music journalism. It is very short-lived. It is a very short-lived. If you watch MTV, it's a very short-lived tenure that you get. You are lost in a year or two.
It's upon your hard work. What I think, you leave MTV. That it might be possible that you go to any Bollywood channel. So I look forward to it. Yes, it is a short tenure, but then if you work hard, you can go to any high.
As a probable candidate who has come for an interview for IAS, you target IAS.
Yes, ma'am.
You will not settle for anything else.
Ma'am, actually, since my childhood, I always dreamt of becoming the topmost administrator for my country. And I think that I would serve better as an IAS officer.
Is there any inspiration you have? Because having a strong inclination or having a strong ambition of becoming somebody, and that is like IAS, I may even go for, we haven't interviewed you. You may end up being an IAS. You may go in for a diplomat. You may become a diplomat. But you are saying you want to be an IAS officer. Is there any particular person or personality who has really influenced you? For what reasons? Because as of now, that we see, the bureaucracy today, one doesn't want to become a bureaucrat. So what is it? What is the inspiration? If you could just tell me one inspiration that you have got from an IAS officer.
Ma'am, actually, the first and foremost inspiration for me is my own passion and dedication for this particular job. And the second thing is that actually I was inspired from Mrs. Kiran Bedi. Though she is an IPS officer, but then I got inspiration from her.
Do you understand that being in the government, you've been in the government, does that change the society? Your being in the government, will it change the society? How do I understand that? What is it that will contribute to society, which at this point of time we need the most?
First and foremost, in our society, we need young leaders to come up, because actually if we are blaming others, our politicians or even the bureaucrats, that they are not dealing with the situations correctly, then we should take up the charge and then bring in the change in the system. And that is why I think that I should enter, or someone like me should enter in this system.
So your graduation subjects indicate sociology, geography and political science. Any particular reason why you took up this particular subject combination?
Ma'am, first and foremost is that I like these subjects, and I think that going to be an administrator, one should know the society absolutely well, and they should know how to rule or how to administer, because the main motive is to administer a particular region or particular district that one gets in. So for that I took sociology to understand the society better, and geography as to know what changes needs to be taken, like since the roads are not good in our own district, similarly electricity problem also arises. And lastly I took political science, because if I am going to be an administrator,
A very paradoxical statement, meaning that all human beings do perish someday. There is an age limit. So, Mrinalini, coming back to you, what I wanted to mean is that human resource is the only resource which is not a natural resource like any other iron ore or oil or crude oil, that it will end up someday. Human resource can be actually trained and replenished. If one genre of managers go out and they are upscaled as directors, other batch comes in who are equally trained, who are given exposure and who are better managers in touch with current changes in the management fields. So this is what it actually means, that human resource is the only resource which, if properly taken care of, can always remain an asset for any organization. They never end up. They do not depreciate like other assets. Fine.
Mrinalini, as an HR manager, how would your work be different from a personnel manager?
As an HR manager, I'll make sure that the company or institute or association that I'm working in, I'm able to implement policies for the betterment of the management as a whole. I would make sure that everybody is able to work in a comfortable environment and make it comfortable for not only for them as well as for me.
My question was, to putting it straight, what is the difference between HR, what is the difference between the work of an HR manager and a personnel manager? Person who looks after the personnel affairs of an organization. What is the difference?
Ma'am, the basic role of an HR is recruiting the people, looking into the recruitment processes, implementing policies for the betterment of the people, and also the training of the people that have been selected.
Where does the grievance go? Where does the grievance of your employees go? Who comes to you with complaints? To the HR or to the personnel managers?
Ma'am, then it depends on the level of the people. If I am in a position that everybody is friendly with me, I guess they'll be more comfortable to come and talk to me rather than having a formal conversation. It would be beneficial to have an informal conversation.
But technically, a grievance is always with the personnel managers. Okay. Now, have you heard of having applied for an HR manager's post? Have you heard of exit interviews? How does it help an organization? What is an exit interview?
Ma'am, I'm not there.
It is there, and it is a very if you have applied, HR cannot be incomplete. You have to understand the policies that is very current, which is like taking the company at height. What is this exit? I'll tell you, exit interview is an interview where you want to quit the job, you want to give an interview, you want to have a sitting with your management, CEOs. How does this help the organization?
Ma'am, this helps the organizations in a way that people are not working under pressure or forcibly they're not working in the association. Because if that is the case, somebody might not give their 100%. They might just be there because of maybe financial problems or something, but if once we go through the problems, maybe we can find proper solutions for them, or maybe we can come up to a certain solution that is helpful for them and that might not lead them to quit the company or the job.
Before, during and after an interview. Before an interview, dressing. First impressions are everything, and at a job interview with other applicants, sometimes there are always none. A good impression can set you apart from the crowd, while a bad impression can send you straight into the crush. Here are some do's and don'ts one must follow. Baggy clothes. The opposite extreme of wearing clothes that reveal too much is wearing clothes that don't fit at all. Your interview clothes should be tailored for a perfect fit. Denim and wrapped t-shirts. Even if you know that the office you are stepping into is casual, stick to professional interview wear. Avoid denim when walking into any workplace. Being overdressed is always better. Footwear. Be sure to have nice dress shoes that match your interview attire. Earrings, piercing, and tattoos. Make sure you do not wear fancy and excessive jewelry. Also, you do not have any piercing or tattoos. Hair. See that you have a proper hair with no flakes falling over your face. Girls can go for braids or buns. Boys should have short and well-combed hair. Initial things to keep in mind. Arrival time. It is good interview etiquette to arrive 10 minutes before the given time, but no earlier. Turn off your mobile phone completely. Don't leave it on vibrate as this can still be heard. Documents, be prepared and organized. Take a folder with you so you can take notes and have a short list of questions pre-prepared. It is also a good idea to take your CV and if you have them, references. Do your homework before going to the interview. Find out about the company's history, the key players and the company's vision. When you are asked why you would like the position, you can use this knowledge to back up your reasons for wanting to work with the company. Entry and greeting. Knock before you enter the meeting room. Even when the receptionist has told you it's time to go, walk in a dignified and confident way. Make sure you greet all the guests according to the plan. Only if the interview puts forward his hand for a handshake, only then will you go for a handshake. It should not be very strong, but sit only when you are asked to and say thank you. Sitting posture. Maintain a good posture. Sit straight and don't slouch. You should be able to feel your spine. Don't sit very stiff. This shows that you are very conscious. For girls, don't cross your legs except at the ankles. Place your hands on your lap with your palms facing the seat. For boys, put your feet on the ground a little apart. Etiquette during an interview. Make eye contact with all of the interviewers. This is important as it builds trust and helps you connect with people. Respond positively but concisely and avoid stressing any levels. Let the interviewer completely finish their questions. Once they finish, pause for 1 to 2 seconds and then answer the questions. It shows you have good manners and have given the question some thought. Don't underestimate your smile. While an interview is a serious occasion, you should allow your personality to shine through. Avoid asking about the salary unless the interviewer mentions it. Don't brag or lie. There's a fine line between selling yourself effectively and lying. After the interview, be professional from the beginning right up to the end. Thank the interviewers individually and by name for their time. Ask them what the next stage of the process is and your final statement should be for them to contact you if there is anything else you would like to know.